Hey Aquarius, how's it going? Before we get into it, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. It looks like you're working to resolve something. For some of you, this could be like an external relationship, an interpersonal relationship. For others of you, this can even be something internally that's going on that you're figuring out. The Six of Pentacles. This was coming through in the pre-shuffle too. Evaluating, checking in, asking yourself if you're being treated the way that you want to be treated, if you are being compensated in the way that you want to be compensated, if you're giving too much, if you're giving too little. This can also mean evaluating situations that you're in too, and checking what your expectations are as well. For many of you, this seems like what you're signing up to be responsible for, and if these are things that you really want to be taking on, or if this is something that you need to spread out a little bit even. I'm also hearing at what cost. This can be evaluating too, like for your job, are you making enough money? Are you being compensated for what you're doing? Monetarily speaking, energetically speaking. It looks like you may have had a disagreement with someone, or you feel uneasy about something. For many of you, this can be related to your job, but it can also be related to like responsibilities that you take on as well. And like if you are putting yourself in a spot where you're taking on responsibilities that are not your own. And this can also like bleed into your interpersonal relationships as well. Are you carrying someone's karma for them? Are you in a place where you are accepting where people are on their journey? Or are you in a place where you are wanting things for other people that are not your responsibility to be taking on? This can mean, too, being in a place where you're like, well, I wish you were this way, or I wish you were that way, instead of just focusing on yourself here. Because we're not here to be changing people. We are here to be accepting where they are and figuring out like whether or not that's in alignment with us, and also setting boundaries if needed. And this can be with work as well. Because for some of you, too, like you could be taking on more responsibility, but this is something that like you're putting on yourself. Or you need to have a conversation with someone about this, because it can be like when you signed up for the job, you didn't think that so many things were going to be falling on you, and maybe it's even too much now. Or you feel conflicted about something. It's like you want to be there, but you can't be there, and this, like, maybe it's coming time to have a conversation with someone. Or you can be in a place where you want a different type of job, and you want to be at a job where you're being compensated for something that you're doing in a different way than you are now. Something may not feel empowering to you that you're doing too. Like you could even be struggling with someone. I am getting the word struggling. It can be a company, it can be a boss, it can be a person within your life, but it's something that's like keeping you back from living your best life right now. And it looks like you need to speak up and say something. And this can even be an environment that you don't feel supported within too. And something needs to be done here. Because it feels like it's holding you back from even like meeting your potential in a way. Are we talking about someone from the past? It's like wondering whether or not this can be a balanced relationship. Or this can be somebody that you've been dealing with for quite some time. Yeah, I feel like this is a deep dive looking into what you feel responsible for overall within your life. Especially places where, again, you may be like signing yourself up for things, meaning you're taking on too much responsibility. As I said before, this can be taking on other people's responsibilities as well, not just your own. And this is about thinking about that too. Like, you are just responsible for yourself and for working on yourself. You're not responsible for other people. I'm talking about like other people, like your peers and whatnot. Because there could even be a situation where it's like you keep coming through and trying to save someone or trying to placate them in some type of way, but like there's something internally going on that you feel uneasy about. And it's because there's a lack of acceptance within the situation. And maybe interfering in natural consequences for someone, even. This can be. It seems to like something needs to be brought to light. It comes from a place of you feeling a sense of uneasiness within a relationship that you have, and you need to speak about all of the things that bring you into a place where you feel empowered. And to also think about this too and ask yourself, are you feeling empowered within the connections that you have? Is it meeting your standards? Are you sticking around for other reasons? Are you trying to change someone? Are you like, it would be perfect if only? Because if we're stuck in that place where we're still like waiting for someone to catch up, even, we can say, this is about sitting with yourself and asking yourself, is this something that I can accept if it stays like this forever? Am I feeling like anger or animosity or like other feelings like that towards this person because they're not living up to my standards that I'm assigning them? Or are my expectations in alignment with the reality of the situation? Or do I need to move on? Do I need to set boundaries here with someone? Do I need to remove myself from a situation even? I think that something is, like, it looks like an important conversation is going to be had, or at least you're being guided in that direction. And this is anything that's keeping you in a place where you don't feel empowered, and recognizing that this is your responsibility. Like, you are the only one that can put yourself in situations where you feel empowered, or remove yourself from situations where you're not feeling that way. Because there could be something that you're sticking around for that, again, you're just keeping yourself in a situation, maybe because you have feelings for someone. So now you're even like negotiating your values with someone or even yourself. This could be somebody that you feel close with too. Like someone that you feel you have an energetic understanding of, and maybe someone that also understands you. However, even if somebody is like what you deem to be your soulmate, this is about asking yourself how this person is showing up and if that works for you, and being honest with yourself. Otherwise, you're going to be suspended in this state of feeling conflicted and feeling uneasy about things. Or for some of you, you could even be sitting in a situation where you don't like how someone's treating you, and like just because you see them as your soulmate or you feel very energetically connected with them, you're making excuses. Yeah, something's keeping you at bay from feeling like a situation is ideal for you here. But there are moves that you can make to create this ideal situation for yourself. Especially stability within a connection, and one where you feel confident and you feel good within your energy. I don't know, for some of you too, you could be in a situation where for some reason you're like not addressing this feeling that you're having with someone, maybe because you don't know how they're going to react. But that also tells you something too. If you can't be transparent with someone and there's a lack of communication, then what's even going on there? And is that also a situation that you want to be in? Because you're not stuck anywhere. It's all a choice. And for some of you, this is leading you into a place where you're going to be going through some big shifts and some big changes. And this would also mean separating from someone for some of you. It's like you try to address something and you can only get so far with someone, and you may need to take a break or take a breather and to focus your energy back on yourself. Because I think a lot of us too, we get in a situation where it's like, I'm not the one with the problem. It's this person and that person, or if only they would do this or that. And we have to focus it all back on ourselves. Because if there's a problem, it's our own problem. It's not anybody else's. Just like how we're feeling too. Our feelings are our own problem, so to speak. And how other people are feeling, that's their problem. It's their responsibility, and vice versa. I'm looking at Venus, Libra, Scorpio. And change can be uncomfortable too, because we like what's familiar to us, even if we recognize it's not so functional. And this can always be like an aspect of a relationship that we have with ourselves too. Something that we haven't been addressing that we need to address because it's keeping us from stepping into our full energy. It feels like something is holding you back. Let's reframe that. It seems like you are holding yourself back from something by not addressing it. But the telltale sign here is like that sense of inner conflict and not feeling at peace. And addressing this may be scary because it means that you're going to be going through a big change personally within your life, within like a relationship, or maybe multiple relationships. Could be within your job. Could be dynamics within a family. And maybe it's also time to face the music too and start anew. Something within the heart chakra that's being addressed. This is so you can start from like a clean slate as well. You know what? The word that I was looking for as well was resentful. If you are feeling resentful of someone, it means that like your boundaries may be being crossed. However, like sometimes we have boundaries, but we haven't said anything about what our boundaries are. And so like we're repeatedly allowing them to be crossed and not saying anything. However, like these feelings of resentment are coming up because we need to do something about it. If we have already spoken about what our boundaries are and those feelings are still coming up, it means that there may not be follow through that we're taking when our boundaries are crossed, and something that we do need to follow through with. Yeah, it looks like this change that's coming is going to be inevitable, and it seems like there's going to be some tough stuff that's being worked on, but it's going to be worth it to you because it's ultimately going to be clearing the heart space. This is also about asking yourself what you may still be holding on to as well that doesn't feel good to be holding on to. This can be past stuff, this can be current stuff as well. And you may not want to end something, but it looks like it's getting to that point here. Because I'm seeing a sense of like sadness and disappointment. I'm also hearing nostalgia, because you may want to keep something going. But as I said before, I think you're aware that this is not functional to continue. But that really means coming to a place of acceptance with that. And until we're ready, we're going to stay stuck in a situation. For some of you, I'm hearing this is about even moving out. Not for everybody. I'm hearing the word disorder. I was also hearing disorderly conduct. This looks very much like fighting demons here. There's something out of balance with the devil that you're being guided to bring an end to. I don't know whether or not you're going to do this, because it seems like it's one of those situations where you know it would be in your best interest to make a decision, but because of how difficult it is for you, it may be something that you don't want to do. Because it may entail, like, pain and going through something like that. Or, like, it's more so accepting a situation, but in that there would be, like, pain that you're experiencing potentially. It really all depends on your perspective, though. But yeah, something out of balance is going to need to come to an end, and it's something that you're really going to have to tap into, like, your divine masculine with to overcome this energy. And this is anything that, like, you keep coming back to that you feel is unhealthy for you. Really anything out of balance within your life, anything within your relationships. It can be codependency, it can be substance use, it can be overindulging. It can be habits that you recognize are unhealthy. And it's the things that actually keep you from feeling... I'm hearing a sensation of happiness. It all looks like this is around you actually advocating for yourself and setting boundaries. Because with the devil here, as long as this is put off and not addressed and action is not taken to end certain things or remove yourself from them, there's a sense of, like, you keep falling for, like, the same trick or the same situation, or, like, the same thing, like, whatever game the devil is playing with in your life. And it looks like this is something that you're going to need strategy to break away from this. You're going to need consistency, but the payoff is going to be, like, you feeling empowered in a really significant way, and one where you feel in touch with your happiness, and one that you can actually grasp. Because the devil kind of, it's like dangling a carrot. It's like you think that you're going to get it, but you can never actually reach it, and it always just seems out of reach in that way. Although, like, the devil promises to come through, there's a sense of, like, never obtaining that thing. However, with the hard work and the consistency and the endurance and the grit that's put into this, you can actually obtain something that you want. And it is related to your pursuit of happiness. However, it seems like you may be trying to like bargain with the devil in a situation, and the devil is just a personification of the illusion and the lack of truth and the lack of acceptance within our life and within our dynamics with people and the lies that we tell ourselves and all of these things. And it's full of empty promises. There's always a sense of promise, but it's something that's never fulfilled. For some of you, this is going on in like multiple dynamics that you have. But yeah, I think too, like if healthy boundaries have not been modeled for us, it's also like a really big thing to learn, and it's very multifaceted as well. But the decision is really about being in that place where you are thinking about what your boundaries are and setting them. But that also means too that you may be like walking away from certain people or losing them within your life, and if you're not prepared for that yet, it's something that you're going to keep putting off until you get to a place where you're actually ready to make a change for yourself. But that would also mean, like, when you are, like, ready to go through that transition, that transformation within your life, there's a lot less suffering because acceptance will take that place and grace comes with that as well. But yeah, until we get to that place, it's something that, like, you just keep running that tape. The storyline just keeps repeating over and over again. So now it's about asking yourself, do you feel fulfilled within the situations that you're in? Are there situations that you're ready to remove yourself from or to change? Because it's all in your hands with the Wheel of Fortune, karmically speaking. Some of you too could, I mean, many of our relationships are karmic as well. We can say all of our relationships even, because they're meant to teach us things. It looks like you've, like there's something strong that you've still been caught up in, but it seems difficult to see because there's still a sense of illusion tied to it. And so you may not be seeing like behind what it is. Like you still may be caught up in something that's like making it hard for you to like even grasp the reality of a situation at times. But yeah, I'm seeing it's almost like I'm seeing like a Ferris wheel or like a merry-go-round that you're on with the karmic energy. And as I said before, the question that's gonna help separate you from like where you are now and where you want to be is whether or not you feel fulfilled within your connections as they are right now, right here. Not how they were or not if they were just like that. It's like, what is it right now? And if it stays like that, is this something that you're willing to compromise? Is it something that you're willing to even look the other way with, I'm hearing? Or is it something that you're going to remove yourself from? Even within our friendships, we can be in situations, or like with family members, we can be in situations where we may be frustrated with people because they're asking too much of us, or like we would do this and that for this person, but they don't show up for you in that way. And we have to come to an understanding that people can ask you for whatever favors they want to, or for you to do that, or have certain expectations of you. And there's no harm, no foul with that. Your boundaries need to be coming into play, though. and say, like, is this an expectation that I can live up to? Do I need to have a conversation about that? You don't have to do everything that people ask you to do. That's about a conversation you have with yourself to see if you want to sign up or sign on to do something. Because when we don't have boundaries, we may be in a place where we feel like people are taking advantage of us, or that, like, oh, they asked me to do this, but I don't have time, but I'm going to do it anyway because they asked me, you know? And that's you putting yourself in that position. So, yeah, a lot of interpersonal stuff, it seems like that's been going on. I'm looking at Capricorn, Aries, and Jupiter. When we go through lessons with the Capricorn energy, with Saturn, once we are, like, consistent and put in the work, they are lessons that we complete that we don't have to repeat again. And with the Aries energy, this may be about you asserting yourself and asserting the boundaries that you have. For some of you, it's about taking on more of a leadership role, I'm hearing. It's about also creating your own happiness and creating something for you that's long-lasting, and not being distracted by the people around you that may not offer you the type of support that you're looking for, the type of validation that you're looking for. Or behaviors that you feel kind of put you off track or distract you. The thing I'm getting to with the Wheel of Fortune next to the Five of Swords here is that, like, until this big lesson is completed, you're going to have this same energy, it can be with many different people, popping back into your life repeatedly until this lesson is learned. So it's like, even if it's not the same person, it's like a similar storyline that keeps repeating within your life. And so it has to be completed in order for you to move on from this. Otherwise, you're just going to be stuck in that spot, like, kind of on a loop, and feeling that sense of stagnation and frustration. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.